Hello everyone, so today I'm just going to take you through another tactic I've been using in a Journeyman save I've been doing. So I've just won the league with Bruges, undefeated, scoring 106 goals and conceding only 13 goals, and that's over a 40 game period. Also won the Croaky Cup, and then I got to the Champions League final with the whole team just kind of falling apart in the last 10 minutes. Really annoying, so close, but you look there. Really disappointed performances from a lot of the players, which is the worst they played all season really. Apart from one little hiccup here back in the this was down to a red card. And to be fair, the tactic wasn't really what it was then, what it is now. It's kind of still, and it's sort of I was still tweaking things, changing stuff. Basically, this looks quite similar to the Hague tactic I made. And that's because it's kind of all evolved from this. So like this is a tactic I had on last year. Bostonette last year when he was still on Twitch, he done a little thing called Champions League of Tactics. Basically all we did is all sent in. He sent us all a save we all drew a team each and basically had to create a tactic for that club and then start using it. So I'd already previously created this for Tottenham. I'd been using it kind of when Mourinho took over. It's my sort of interpretation of a Mourinho sort of mid-block. It's nothing. It might not necessarily accurate. It's more made for Football Manager than to exactly replicate him. But I just wanted to take a few of them elements, and it was more sort of going with that sort of 4-4-3 style. It done quite well sort of in the league there, and then it done well online against other players' tactics. So this year I used it again. I was using it with. Let's just go to. See, I've left all these teams now, so I'm going to have to go through and just search them and show you. So we went through like Den Haag. And for them, it'll be going back a few years now. So this was that first season, and I didn't really settle on a tactic straight away. And then towards the end of the year, I started using that, and that's when it started getting a lot better. But I did start tweaking things as they went. And then the next year, you can see I used that the Hay, which I've already gone over. Go over too much because I've already done a video about it, but basically that evolved into like this, and then I've kind of gone back now, more, gone back to where I was previously, but I think it's a more improved version of what I was using last year personally. I mean, having the fullbacks here is a lot safer. We ask him to sit narrower just to keep the possession here nice. I mean, I did have a playmaker at one point and they were keeping the ball quite well, so I'm not sure. I think that would still be fine to use, but not entirely necessary. I don't have it on this side because the Mazzala's already going quite wide, and I want him to sort of push wider past the winger. And the winger, is quite a wide position here. So did have a ball playing defender here, but again, they can run up here and start losing the ball and leave you quite vulnerable. But this is fine in the Belgian league, but when you're in the Champions League stuff, you need to start sort of mitigating all these risks. Same again with the fullbacks instead of wingbacks. Wingbacks are going to dribble a lot of the ball, a lot higher risk of losing the ball, and and just putting you in danger basically. No instructions here or here. We've got a defensive midfielder, so this can be a defensive duty as well. If depending on how the game's going, if you're up and you're quite comfortable, you could just knock him back to a defensive duty, knock that back to positive, and just sort of see out the rest of the game without using too much energy or using too much risk. So the Mazzala, again, it's the same as when I've done the sort of Hague tactic. I want him marking this sort of DM area. You can get specific with the actual player if you want. I just done a video last couple of days talking about the wingers, marking players, specific players. I still use the position. I think it can be fine. But like you said, if you want to get a little bit more specific, you can be there. Obviously, I think there's a bit of a danger. They can be dragged over the place, but for these players high up, it's not too bad. And then another thing to sort of consider is that I do want to sort of counter steal. Sometimes these players are too close to the fullbacks. The balls might not get played to them as much, but so try either way. To be honest, I've always just used it that way. I'll probably, give that after his video. I'll probably give it a little bit more of a try again. Kind of stop using it for a little while. The AF he's got no instructions. He's just basically running on. I don't really even get him to press high. Really, these guys are not pressing high either. So we've got the counter press on, we've got the attacking mentality. That's going to be enough. That's going to sort of get a little bit here. So if we go through the instructions here, going to hit early crosses. Again, similar to other tactics I've made in the past. Just want nice balls coming over from this area, especially to the IF running on. The Mazzala can be bursting through. Yes, and then the fullbacks, they can be doing them sort of crosses to the far post. I mean, if you wanted, you could sort of ask him to cross to the far post. This guy here, he's the main goal scoring threat. So I've actually just got Mark Tyre, Mark position again. Same as I think the last, I think 2 out of the last 3 tactics I've done, I've had this. So it's something that I'm using at the moment. There's a pattern emerging, as you can see, with my low amount of goals conceding. These sort of defensive setups, they work well, sort of force an opponent outside, standard high line, whatever. You can come down lower. Usually if I'm a bit lower, I don't bother pushing outside. Get the stuck in, and then when we're coming here, we're doing the counter press, getting the ball, counter press, and then we're countering, distribute quickly to the fullback. So it's all sort of these little bits that are taken from that. We sort of took that. I like this the way it used to move quickly, but the wing backs and the ball playing defender and everything used to put me at too much risk, to be honest. I changed this here because I found that we was kind of hanging on to the ball a bit longer than I wanted sometimes. Sometimes I just want to be in a real rush, to be honest. I found fluid tactics not as good this year. Maybe it's just me doing it wrong, but I got it right with the Saki one, but I've tried some of the 4-3-3s and it's not as good as last year. I don't know. Maybe the update. We'll see. We'll see if there's any changes. But in my personal opinion, I just don't think fluid tactics are as good as this year. These sort of direct tactics, they work. They're really strong. You do a direct mid block, low block. You're going to score loads of goals. Probably concede not that many either. You've got the right players for it. You can see, my left winger there. He scored 27 goals, 36 goals. He played as a striker most of the season, and he played there. So most of the time. So the front 3 are scoring a lot. Mazzala's scoring a lot. Not many goals coming from the rest of the team, really. He's a backup, even in sort of whatever many appearances, he's still managed sort of 12 goals. So yeah, overall, not too bad. I mean, most of the attacking players. He came in January. He's managed 6 goals in half a season. So for a midfielder, so you're going to get a nice spread of goals amongst the forward players. I mean, these guys are probably, depending on how you set your set pieces up, they'll chip in with headers on set pieces, all the rest of it. So yeah, that's gone well, and this has kind of evolved over the last couple of seasons. So I was using something a little bit different last year. I went with something that was a little bit more of a mix. It had a little bit more of an element of, let's have a look. Got so many tactics now. So we've done like this whole Klopp thing, and you can see there, there is, that sort of, I've kind of blended, what I initially made there with this really, but because of the players I had, I just sort of carried it. I thought, the wingers would be perfect, and it turned out, especially the left winger, scored goals all the time. So centre forward, for on support. Again, this you can play complete forward on support. You can play. I just wanted someone running on a little bit. The CF just seemed to roam around a bit more than what I liked. I mean, you can go with that. It depends on the players you've got, really. Mine are not really exactly suited to being a complete forward. Ideally, I'd like a complete forward, but the AF's fine. He'll run on. He might get a few offsides. You want to make sure he's got like good decisions, and you want to be able to dribble. You want to accelerate. So if he does he's not always going to be able to beat them players. Just sort of outrunning them. I mean, he sort of does because he's fast, but sometimes he's going to need to be able to take them on. So you've got that combination that's 17 acceleration, 17 dribbling, 17 pace as well, 18 balance. He's going to be able to take players on fine, and again, look, this is why I didn't use him as complete forward, because he's just not no strength or heading ability. So we just had to sort of go with the whole balls through and him running on. So the Mazzala here as well is another one you're going to want you want him to be able to dribble. You want a bit of pace and a bit of finishing there, because he's going to be bursting through there, and he'll get a lot of goals. Again, obviously dribbling. So even like he's got 9 finishing, he's still scored 27 goals. So he might have scored more if you had a player there that had that. But his first touch, his ability to sort of pick up the ball, in this area. Every time you sort of get him over there, he'll get that ball and he'll just run in. And depending on the play you got, depending on how well he does. And again, his crossing is not bad. He will get some crosses in. I've got the low crosses, so he hit balls across the box, and we're going to get the fullback coming up, either hitting balls from out here or hitting balls into there. He could be sort of running through there. He can go quite narrow in this sort of last stage. He almost becomes like another sort of striker almost. So you've got two quite pacey strikers here, and then I had Buting as well. He's just as I've got the support role on this one because I just felt like having just all these attack duties would just be overkill. Well, we know it will. It would get silly. So if we just have someone here on support, it just hold up a little bit more. I mean, ideally, I'd like someone with a little bit more cross in here, but I did initially sign him as a striker, but this guy here, he's a new gen, and he's just come on brilliantly. It's unbelievable, really. We've got another one here, De Baca. He's a new gen as well. He's tackling 17, heading 18. He's got 18 years old. He's got most things you need already, really. I mean, he's quite short, but he can still jump on that. I mean, Cannavaro is like 5'7". He's one of the best centre backs there's ever been. So don't always need to be tall. This guy here, I mean, he can sort of go out to that fullback position, but he's not ideal. He can't really cross that well. But again, he's got good heading, marking. He can pass the ball. These are all things I look for just in every sort of save. Really, you'll notice that most of the attributes I look for, the base attributes are the same. Defenders need to be able to tackle, run, jump, all the rest of it. These need to be able to pass and tackle. I won't have any midfielders who ain't got at least 10 tackling. Even a Mazzala attacker, if I'm got him marking that DM, you need to have him. He needs to have a little bit of marking and a little bit of tackling. I mean, look, he's got 10 and 13. That's good enough. If you're down in like the 4 ranges, you might want to try out a different option with this. You might just sack it off or just get him to close more and maybe get him pressing up here rather than marking. But it's an option worth considering. No, the save's going well. I'm on my what are we on now? 4th. This is the 3rd club. I've got. This is I've split the save. I've got another one. I've just gone to Sporting from here. I don't know why I pushed that profile. So if you look here, career milestones, done all sorts now. So started at Den Haag, come all the way through Feyenoord. That was a similar tactic. That was similar tactics to the Klopp sort of. That was in the era I was using that Klopp tactic and the same tactic from here. And then this is where I've sort of developed this latest tactic. And then I've now moved on to Sporting, and I'm using a 4-2-3-1, which I'll do a video about that soon once I'm a bit further into the season. Hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, any questions? Again, just ask. I know it's a similar tactic to the last one, but I just basically wanted to show you, how you can sort of sometimes evolve a tactic. Doesn't always have to be the case of it's a new season, a new team. I need to create a whole new style. Sometimes a style can be working well. Just run with it a few tweaks, maybe try and improve it. Maybe change it from a low block to a mid block, and you can have them multiple options. Then in your tactics, you can in game you can switch from the mid to the low block from no trouble, and without having to do too much sort of faffing around in the game, which I don't really like. I like to be able to just sort of get on, watch the highlights, and get on with the game. So take care, everyone.